Welcome to Art with Mrs. Cap, where we are going on a journey through the world of art and the many histories and cultures that influence it. Whether you're a kid or a kid at heart, wanting to learn more about the art world, this is the podcast for you. So join us as we journey through art with Mrs. Cap. Welcome. In this episode of Art with Mrs. Cap, we're going to be looking at the Great Wave off Kanagawa. Other names for this work are the Great Wave or simply the Wave. It is a wood block print by the Japanese ukiyo artist Katsushika Hakusai. So we believe it was created in 1831. It is a color wood block. It is from what's known as the Edo period. This is a period in Japan's history that's between 1603 and 1867. This is when Japan was under the rule of the Tokugawa shogunate. This emerged out of the Sengoku period, and the Edo period was characterized by economic growth, strict social order, isolationist foreign policies, a stable population, perpetual peace, and of course, popular enjoyment of arts and culture. So the shogunate was officially established in Edo, which is now Tokyo, on March 24th, 1603. Tokugawa Ieyasu founded it, and the period came to an end in May of 1868 after the fall of Edo. So a little bit about the artist. Hakusai lived from 1760 to 1849. He began painting when he was 6. At age 12, his father sent him to work at a bookstore. At 16, he was apprenticed as an engraver and spent 3 years learning the trade. At the same time, he began to produce his own illustrations. At 18, he was accepted as an apprentice to Katsugawa Shunsho, one of the foremost ukiyo artists of the time. In 1804, he became famous in his own right as an artist during a festival in Edo. Of course, we know that's later Tokyo. He completed a painting of a Buddhist monk named Daruma, and in 1814, he published his first of 15 volumes of sketches entitled Manga. If you are an anime or a manga fan, you understand the importance of this. So the roots of that go all the way back to the Edo period of Japan. And that's something we'll explore in future episodes. So this work of art was from his 36 views of Mount Fuji. The Great Wave was the first of that series. Hakusai was around 70 years old when he produced it, and the series is considered his masterpiece. He made use of the recently introduced Prussian blue pigment. At first, images were largely printed in blue tones, including the key blocks for the outlines. And then after success was assured, multicolored versions of the prints were released. So initially, they were basically a monochromatic print, and then later they became a multicolored print. The image depicts an enormous wave that's threatening 3 boats off the coast of Sagami Bay. And you see Mount Fuji rises in the background. Sometimes assumed to be a tsunami, the wave is more likely some large rogue wave. The composition comprises 3 main elements: the sea whipped up by a storm, 3 boats, and a mountain. It also includes the signature in the upper left-hand corner. You'll see that little box there. That has the artist's signature. So the mountain, the importance of the mountain. The mountain with a snow-capped peak is Mount Fuji, which in Japan and Japanese culture is sacred. It is a symbol of national identity as well as a symbol of beauty. Mount Fuji is an iconic figure in many Japanese representations of famous places, including this series by Hakusai, the 36 views of Mount Fuji. So the boats in this scene are 3 traditional fast boats. They are used to transport live fish from Izu and Baso peninsulas to the markets of the Bay of Edo. As the name of the piece indicates, the boats are in Kanagawa Prefecture, with Tokyo to the northeast, Mount Fuji to the west, northwest, the Bay of Sagami in the northwest, and the Bay of Tokyo to the east. So we see the sea dominates the composition. As an extending wave is about to break, you see this kind of circular form that's made. And all this helps utilize the principles of design, the elements of art, to draw your eye to the focal point of this work, which is Mount Fuji in the background. So this wave circles around as an element of bringing your attention to the sacred mountain in the background. So this work is considered to be Hakusai's most famous work and is often considered the most recognizable work of Japanese art in the world. I'm sure you've probably seen it around. You've even seen it if you've looked at your emojis. The wave emoji is very, very similar to the Great Wave of Kanagawa. If you wanted to see this work of art, you can go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, known as the Met in New York City. They have one of the original prints of this work in their Japanese collection. So if you would like to see this, I definitely recommend it, especially if you're interested in anime and manga. As we saw that Hakusai, the artist, was one of those first early manga artists during this period and kind of, the foundation of that. So manga and anime all kind of has its foundation in this period of art and this artist specifically. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you next time on Art with Mrs. Cap. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Be sure to subscribe and check out more episodes as we travel through the world of art and art history to have a better understanding of our own ties to the culture and history of humanity.